Welcome back to the PT Graduate Podcast. And today my guest is Mr. Tom Downs from Christchurch. We've got lots to talk about, and I've got a reasonable list of notes, so hopefully I'll be able to leverage those and pick your brains, Tom. Great to meet you and again connect.
Thanks for having me on board, mate. Appreciate it.
No problems. No, it's great. I think there's, having sort of done a bit of stalking and finding out a little bit about you, I think there's some overlap in some of the things that we do, and there may be some like-minded approach to some of the things we do as well. So, be interesting to explore those. So, tell me a little bit about your journey and how you got into the industry. I see you're sort of kicked off at Les Mills over a decade and nearly a decade and a half ago, and you've been around a long time. So you've had some serious success along the way, and be good to sort of explore some of that and find out what happened and where you are now.
Yeah, it has been a long time. I guess when you've been in the industry a while, it doesn't seem like a long time.
Right.
It's only talking to others when you realize it's like you've spent most of your life doing one thing. And I think also starting at Les Mills, like I think there's still people around that had been there a long time when I started that are still there now. So
okay.
It's all comparative, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think I got in the industry like a lot of young males potentially. It's just to like doing sport, wasn't good at anything else, so that seemed like an obvious thing. You could learn a little bit about health and well-being and apply that to helping some others as well. And I think like the big realization for me was when I first started PTing, again, like most, I probably wanted to work with athletes and all the exciting stuff, but it didn't take me long to realize just helping general pop I enjoyed more, because I found like the people that were more athletic were kind of going to find success either way, with or without me. But there were a lot of people that I could actually really help. So I really did enjoy that. So that's probably how I started out, I guess. And I don't think about it that often, like what my thoughts were going into wanting to get into the fitness industry. I don't actually know the answer. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But it has been a while that I actually can't really remember why I did. I mean, I love doing it. I've loved being in the industry. It's been very rewarding for me as well. So that's probably why I'm still here, I guess.
In terms of that success, you left Les Mills. How long were you at Les Mills for?
2.5 years, I think. I was there right up until the earthquakes in Christchurch. Les Mills stopped.
Yeah.
Was planning on going out on my own at that point anyway. But yeah, obviously the earthquake sort of just like forced direction to think of some other things at that stage.
Yeah. That earthquake is kind of like a whole topic in itself in terms of how that affected the industry and what you guys had to deal with and adapt and get through that to carry on, which I can't even imagine the challenges that you guys faced. But so you went out on your own and you set up your own facility, is that right?
Yeah, I opened up a facility ended 2011, started 2012, Corporate Wellness Solutions.
Right.
I was just writing a Facebook post today, actually, that brings the earthquake up, because I was like, I remember because the post that I'm talking about is I help a lot of trainers at the moment move their business online, and there's a lot of people coming in the industry who have never really worked face-to-face with people that are being certified and have got nowhere to work, so they're going online. And I was thinking about this in my head, is like, how can this be? But what it made me think about is like, after the earthquakes, when we'd sort of opened up Corporate Wellness Solutions, a lot of people were asking me, what was it like to open up a business post-earthquake? And like the honest truth was I didn't know, because I'd never really opened a business before it, so there was no comparison. So I'm assuming that's what's going to happen with people in the fitness industry in the future. Like once they figure this out and figure out how to be online without ever actually training clients, they won't know anything to compare it against either. So but yeah, just made me think of that. But end of 2011, we opened up the doors of Corporate Wellness Solutions here in Christchurch, and that we got lucky in some way. Like we were quite naive going into something like that. But again, we were the only gym in the central city for probably 12 12 to nearly 24 months, I think.
Right.
So
yeah. Yeah. Would have given you, it's that whole first to market advantage that, nobody can ever really compete with that. And there's always catch up for everybody in second, third, fourth place, isn't there, with that? So you had a massive advantage. Sounds like you also had a fairly select client in mind, customer in mind, in terms of, so it was a traditional gym, but
traditional gym, but a lot of our what we did is just went for trainers who had existing client bases as well to bring them on board, because then they'd bring clients, or that was sort of the initial plan. And a lot of it was corporate. We also at that stage there was we're looking at creating corporate wellness programs as well. So we're going into companies and doing corporate wellness assessments. So created something that would align quite well with that as well. Like the people inside those companies could come and be members of our gym versus others. And also we had our programs that we were delivering to those guys at the same time.
Yeah, smart, very, very smart move. And it became a success that you won a couple of awards. Is that right?
Yeah, we got a couple of awards, 2014 into 2014, I believe it is. Gym of the Year, Fitness Innovation of the Year as well. So that was exciting, I think, because
And so off the back of that, did you? I mean, you've moved on from those premises now, and they've been sold on to somebody else, or?
Yeah, we sold there nearly 5 years ago now. So been doing more coaching and consulting for the last 4 years.
Yeah, and is that it? Are you just doing that? Is that your baby now? Is that where all your time goes?
Yeah, it is. I've still got a few clients. I've got a few clients that are doing the coast to coast this year that I've been working with for. One of my clients has been with me for 12 years ish, and he is going to be the oldest competitor to do the 1 day this year. So definitely keen to stick with him and help him out, because it'll be big undertaking. He's turning 70 next year.
Wow.
About the longest day.
Wow.
So it makes me feel atrocious and unfit.
Yeah, that's humbling. Really amazing. Has he done it before?
Yeah, he's done the 2 day. He signed up 5 times, got injured once, not competed, and then this year will be the first time he's doing the 2 day.
Right.
Sorry, the 1 day. The 1 day.
Yeah. Geez, what a hero. That's worth getting the newspapers down there for, isn't it?
He does get a few interviews and stuff for sure. But I mean, he puts in the effort, and so
good on him. And so what was it that sort of triggered your interest in what you're doing now, as opposed to the the traditional client face-to-face and supporting others?
Yeah, so what I really enjoyed with the gym, a lot of the stuff that I was doing was working with the trainers, educating them, helping them build their business. Like my philosophy was like, if I can help them look after their clients, then they're looking after my clients, so I don't have to so much. So once that was established, I really enjoyed working with them, and I was getting other trainers from other gyms asking for support and help as well. So I'd started doing that. Once I sold the gym, I was more going into gyms to help them with running Facebook ads and a few things like that. But what I didn't like about it was I was getting a few clients that were gym owners, but not in the fitness industry. They were sort of like, so they bought into some of the franchise gyms as investments and stuff like that. So I didn't love that. And what I was end up doing is helping them with their personal training teams. So I just sort of niched down more into personal training. It's what I love. It's what my background is. It's more what my skill set is. So it just made sense.
Yeah. And so that's something that's sort of evolved over the last few years in terms of how you deliver it, what you're specifically working on. And it's that online space and scaling, it looks like, as though kind of the main key driver for what people are looking to get from your services.
Yeah, so probably the last 2 years has definitely been more just helping coaches and trainers take their business online. And I guess that was more to necessity than anything else. Originally, I was like have a program for face-to-face trainers as well. But I just ditched that eventually and just went straight down to that one path, like get real crystal clear. And that way I get like, I can use any knowledge that I've got or increase the knowledge in that one specific area. So I'm continually improving that to like filter that down through to the coaches and trainers as well.
Nice. It's quite a commitment, isn't it? I remember seeing the Netflix documentary, which was on Prime, about the evolution of Netflix, because they had, they were doing DVDs and they had this whole customer database, like 800,000 customers who they were posting DVDs out to as they were building the online platform. And the CEO at one point just made the decision and he dumps the 800,000 and everyone was like, what are you doing? And actually it was the best thing he could have done because, you know, obviously Netflix, again, first to market and market leader, and sounded like a massive business risk, but actually it was probably one of the smartest things he did. And it sounds, you know, you've done the same thing. You've chosen your specific thing and you've just gone deep on that thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's quite hard when you're doing that too, because you've got like, it's very easy to not believe in something that you kind of haven't seen or done, or you don't have the support networks around you that are like, yeah, this is how you do it. So I guess like you've got to commit and commit hard, I think, if you're going to do something that's somewhat out of the ordinary, and then just like block out any external noise. I've always been reasonably good at sort of figuring out what I want to do and just going with it, whether it's going to work or not. But
you sound like you've got the belief, and I think the work ethic that is required to back that up, right? Because
that's definitely a missing piece of just to have a belief and no work ethic, like, because there's a lot of work, there's a lot of hours in the back end trying to figure things out, for sure. Yeah.
That's the stuff that people don't see, though, right? That's where those overnight successes come from. Years and years of toil that no one sees.
Yeah.
Suddenly, ta-da! Wow, where did that come from? Well, actually, it was happening 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think anyone that's had some success knows that too, don't they? Even if the exponential curve at the end of that last 12 months or 24 months is massive. Yeah. But it's all those building blocks that have been going in on the back end at the start, all the years prior to that.
Yeah. So Hybrid Organic Mastery, and I'm curious about this because you've got a trademark next to that, Tom.
So that's on LinkedIn, eh?
Yeah, that's right.
I've got different ones depending on what platform, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. No, hybrid. The hybrid theory or the hybrid method I was doing there is sort of just like there's still a lot of people who just want to dabble in both. So it's like, what happens with face-to-face is you do start to get pretty burnt out just directing all your attention to your clients. So setting up some systems and some portals and stuff to sort of take away some of that legwork is what the hybrid sort of model is as well. So a lot of my clients still do the hybrid model. It's not the program that we teach it's a 12-week coaching program, is specifically to be fully online, but it works equally the same for hybrid, because if people are already doing face-to-face and they enjoy it, then the hybrid sort of version works reasonably well. Just to leverage some of the stuff that you do and say with your clients every single time, you can sort of get like cheat sheets, worksheets, all this sort of stuff created so they can get onboarded easier, and you can work with more clients because of that.
Yeah. And is it fair to say that a number of trainers have kind of have come knocking and gone, shit, COVID's here, what do I do? And obviously that's been good for business.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one for me here too, being in New Zealand, because there's definitely a few people in the States that do what I do. But what I found for the first couple of years, I had no clients from New Zealand at all. They were all just from the UK, Canada, and the States. But the last, say, 6-12 months has definitely picked up in New Zealand as well. Like a lot of Kiwis are sort of slowly moving that way as well. I think we're a bit of a stubborn lot too, and I get that as well. We were like, there she'll be right attitude, we'll figure it out sort of thing. But
yeah, I think if you can get the Kiwis on board, then any of the others are probably much easier, aren't they? Because even Aussies are easier than Kiwis, I think, to put their hand in their pockets and go, I'm going to invest in myself, or I'm going to invest in my business.
Yeah, just asking for help, eh?
Yeah. It's an important thing, but not enough people do that.
Yeah.
You're also a wellness coach and a chef as well. There's some other talents in the background. So where did you do your wellness coaching, or how did that evolve while you were running the gyms? Yeah,
I think I started again like just picking something and going with it. So originally I was coming over to do personal training and done my ACL. So I picked chefing to go away and study that instead. So I did that for about 6 months afterwards, but it only took me about a month in the industry to realize I didn't want to be doing that. So I went back to the dream of getting into the fitness industry. And yeah, once it sort of was just always trying to learn new stuff. And I think, man, this is guessing. I think I did first wellness coaching program was a Fiona Cosgrove's Australian lady. I don't even know if she still does it, but that would have been 2010.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we're doing some certifications through a company called Wellcoa in America.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So this is going back, 2010 to 2010 to 2013 probably was doing more of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then sort of moved into like precision nutrition coaching and that sort of stuff as well at that sort of time.
Yeah. So lots of behavior change type coaching.
Yeah, well, it doesn't take long. Like, and again, when I say it doesn't take long, that could be 3 or 4 years in the industry before you realize this. But for me, that seems like it didn't take long. Doesn't take long to realize like you can get really good at programming, really good at nutrition. You give it to somebody and they do nothing, and you're like, what? I don't need to get better at these things. I need to get better at helping, like coaching the client, and like you say, the behavioral change things. Like, how do I get them to want to do things? Like,
that's it, isn't it? We can be technically brilliant, but it doesn't really make any difference if the person's not going to do those things.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges is mastering those soft skills, isn't it? Rather than always focusing on the technical. You know, we kind of entry level to the industry is the technical stuff. Obviously you learn more as you go, but if you don't have those softer skills and some of those fine coaching skills, things don't work.
Yeah, for sure. And that's you can only learn that through having clients, really.
I think so. And so some of that chef skill has been used in the volunteer space as well. I see you like to do a bit of volunteer work in Ronald McDonald House as well.
Yeah, we were doing that especially with the gym, because we had access to a lot of corporates and stuff. Like that was a really cool thing to do. Like, and at Christmas and stuff, they were donating a lot of gifts, so we'd put the tree up and get presents coming in. It was just a really cool thing to be doing. I don't think the chefing skills helped in the kitchen when we're making those types of things. Normally the chefing skills is like yelling at people and telling people to go get things for you and stuff. But I think, honest truth, it probably what it really helped me with was marketing. Like, as a personal trainer, when I would say like on the board, I used to get a lot more people contacting me, because this is before I even knew about nutrition. But I'd write about qualified chef and stuff, and people are like, oh, he must know about nutrition. So it actually did work in my favor quite a lot.
Because you do actually learn about nutrition as a chef, don't you? It's not just about cooking; it's about understanding, understanding calories, but also understanding textures and all sorts of different things. Not just how to cook it.
Yeah, for sure. There was heaps I learned from that around just. I think that that education at that point of time for me was real good, because I just was shit at school, didn't like it, any of that sort of stuff. But that sort of gave me had a couple of tutors, or I think that's what they're called, tutors and stuff, that were just really good role models for me, to help me through those sort of things, to show me that like, hey, you can achieve these things, you can do these things, and just sort of like, from that point on, I was able to just like apply things. But before that, probably not. But I think that was a big stepping stone. Nothing necessarily to do with the chefing, but it's just like, you do have to follow instructions, you do have to be patient, and so I think there were some real soft skills that come out of that as well.
It's funny, isn't it, when you reflect on it, you realize just how much value there is in some of those earlier years, where you're doing the doing, but you don't realize exactly just how much you're learning and processing that stuff, and then suddenly it pops up later and you go, that was so good.
Absolutely.
And I think the reference I made at the beginning about, there's some overlap. I like to support, not on the same scale that you are, but support PTs and help them do what they do better, because I've got a business background before PTing, and there's lots of stuff that I learned along the way, which I just use from a business point of view in PTing. But the other thing is that sort of obsession with my own health and sort of trying to be the guinea pig on lots of things, so that's then value that can be passed to clients or people who are interested. I see you're an Oura ring wearer, and I'm not sure where I saw this picture. Obviously there's some, maybe Facebook, but there's some pictures of your readiness score and your sleep score, and I love that sort of stuff. I've been a user for a couple of years, and and also your attention to detail with, you've got a spreadsheet somewhere which is like, time to bed, wake up, morning routine, recovery, and it was like it just kept on going. I was like, geez, look at this, look at the amount of stuff that's being tracked here. I was like, this is my kind of guy. I like this stuff. I could get into this quite quickly. Where does that come from for you? Is it something you've always done, or something that's evolved?
It's definitely something that's evolved. Like all those sheets and all those tracking sheets is things that we apply to our clients now as well, because it's almost just like trying to optimize you, because you are your business essentially. So you're making sure you are getting enough sleep and all that sort of stuff, because it is hard. So those have just formed over time. So whatever sheet that you would have seen at whatever time would have been what I was using at that time. They are continually evolving as I change. I still use the old paper diary and stuff like that as well. I think that's quite important. I don't know when that sort of stuff started. I would have been self-quantification, like what you're saying. Like I would have been trying training things and nutrition things and just implementing those things, and then realizing that tracking some of that stuff is pretty important if you actually want to know what works. Then years ago when I was trying some of keto things and stuff like that, I was tracking blood ketones and blood sugars and just that sort of stuff probably. And then it moved into probably one of the first business coaches that I had as well, would have had me tracking things. So I knew like how many consultations I was having, conversion rates, just that sort of stuff. And I just really enjoyed like the fact that you could see that and then know what to do with that. As in, I don't have enough clients, I haven't done enough consultations, then I need to do something to get more consultations.
Yes. I think I caught one of your videos. You do a lot of, you put a lot out there in terms of some really good thought-provoking questions, but also lots of videos. So sort of videos, coaching videos, referring to what you just said. If I'm not getting the referrals, well, what's my lead rate, and how am I creating those leads? And it's stepping the behaviors back to the beginning. So you're almost reverse engineering the success, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that stuff's with the things we don't give enough thought to, and we just expect them to roll in. And how are they going to roll in if you don't know what behaviors are required at the beginning to create them?
Yeah, and I think because I've had times where things have just rolled in, and I've got lucky on things, and when they're not going good, things have just rolled in, you still don't know what to do now. It's not going good. But at least now, if things are going good, I'll know exactly why. And if things aren't going good, then I can reflect on when it was going good, what's different, what's changed. Even if that is my readiness score or my sleep score, those things correlate. Because I go daily data through to weekly data through to monthly data, and I'll correlate that over through to business as well. I try to combine the two.
Okay. Jeez, that's a monster spreadsheet.
Yeah, I've broken them into a few spreadsheets.
Yeah. I like it. I like that's kind of numberifying life. Yeah. Which again, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. As Drucker said, there's some real basic stuff that just has to happen, and that's the stuff that people don't see in the background ticking away. And the successful people get better, and the people who don't follow those behaviors are the ones who stay still.
Yeah, and I usually try to get people just to track the bare minimum to start with, and it just you slowly over, because it is pretty overwhelming of tracking stuff every day for people. But if you've been tracking it and it's slowly growing, I guess it's the same as if you started doing the activities and nutrition of a pro athlete, the wheels will start falling off pretty quick for most people. But if they just start progressing through, and it gets easier to do more and to keep on top of things.
Yeah, it becomes more of a habit and something you want to grow and get better at doing. Yeah. So in terms of helping PTs, so the IG and Meta framework, is that very much about promoting their business online, or social networks to get those online clients? That's the space to promote yourself, because that's the space that you'll be actually working in.
Yeah. Short answer would be yes. Yeah, definitely. It's just normally what happens when we sort of move online is, or reverse that for a second. When you're working in a gym, you don't have to niche down quite as the same, because the people inside the gym, you haven't chosen that. to some degree. So when you've got in there, the demographic is what the demographic is, and you're sort of pulling from there. When you move online, although you've got like 1 billion people at your disposal, you're also competing with every single health and beauty product in the whole wide world as well. So it's not just the fitness people, you've got beauty products, you've got supplements, you've got everything that you're now competing with. So to really narrow down your message, you have to get crystal clear on exactly who it is, like way more narrowed down than most people would think. And it's because like then all your messaging, all your marketing is almost talking to a person. So when they're reading stuff, they're reading pain points, they're feeling it. They're like, man, this is me. So if you can narrow it down to a person, there's going to be thousands of that person having that same problem if you can get it that narrow. Like a lot of people going online will go, I help 40 to 50-year-old males lose belly fat. And it's like, but there's a big difference between a 40-year-old and a 50-year-old. If you think about, if you think about where you were 10 years ago to now, like you're a different human being. There's big differences. So it has to be a lot tighter than that these days, I feel.
Okay. Yeah. And is that part of the 12-week training that you talked about before? Is that an element of the program, or is the program separate to that, and then the understanding of how to do that is sort of added on?
No, that's where we begin. We begin with getting crystal clear on that there. So we have all the worksheets and stuff and the coaching to actually go to get you crystal clear. And I sort of don't let my clients move on until that is crystal clear, because it's like negative compounding. Everything that you do after that, you spend a lot of time on social media, say doing posts and doing this. So if you're doing these posts to the wrong person, it's even if the content's really good, if it's to the wrong person, someone's going to look at it and think that's really good and then carry on with life. But if it's accurate enough where they're just like, oh man, that's 100% my problem that I need help with right now with this guy, like perfect. So and then you go, so people go, oh, this isn't working, I'll jump into ads. So they start trying to push money into something that's not working.
Right.
And therefore that's just a negative compounding action too. That won't work either. But if you've got that dialed in, narrow, right, really dialed in, and it's working from the organic process, then putting money into something makes sense, because that's how you'll scale something that's working, not something that's not working.
Yeah. Kind of makes sense. I mean, I don't understand that enough to I've done a bit of Facebook advertising over the years, and I've tried to outsource it as much as possible, because there is so much detail in there, and you really do need to know what you're doing. It's another language, really.
Well, that's where I got stuck and got into it, to be honest, because I was outsourcing it. And the problem occurred when the people couldn't do it anymore, and I didn't know what they were doing or how they were doing it or what worked or what didn't work.
Yeah.
And therefore, I was pretty screwed.
So
that's why I really want to make sure that people don't have to necessarily do it, but they have to understand why they're doing certain things, what works, what doesn't. So then again, you can make sure that if you need to outsource or to get someone to help, you know what they want. Like, it's your business. So knowing that you can get somebody to do what you want.
Yeah, very important. So how does it work? Is it a continuous 12-week program, at which point people would do something different, or it ends for them, or there's another one? How does it work if someone's joining the program?
So the 12-week program is more intensive to get like a business structure built out. So to get you to a point where you've got lead generation systems, sales systems, client management systems, like that's all built out, you're good to go. Then from there on in, there's a ongoing coaching model that costs like piss all, just because it doesn't take up a lot of like my time from there, because it's built out. But it means I've got somebody to ask questions when they're stuck, when they're going through, like, you go through ups and downs emotionally as well. You go through slumps, so having someone in your corner there is important. So we've only created this not that last 9 months, where we've got some ongoing coaching options going forward as well, because it was the intensive, say, 12 weeks. But what you'd find is like the energy and the momentum would slowly drop for the person once they're on their own. So it's sort of like, well, let's stick together throughout that as well.
Cool. Like it. I'm going to be sending people your way, I think, because I think there's a lot of people out there who need that support and that help, who don't have that structure in their brain already. They think they just walk into it and things will just happen. And there's so many systems and processes that you really need to save yourself time, to know how things work without having to take 20 minutes, half an hour to do it. you know, the list is quite long. And if someone can shortcut that and go, right, here's the step, here's the solution, we'll be there in 12 weeks. Bring it on.
Yeah, for sure. Like what you do see a lot, or what I do see a lot at the moment, is people the misconception of like creating this online business that's making exponential dollars and you're doing nothing. where it's just like, once I'm on a call with them at the start, I'm like really making sure I'm being as honest as I can about how hard it is, how much work it is, how much effort it is, what a roller coaster it's going to be, all that sort of stuff. So when you're coming on board and you're good to go, you're expecting that. You're not expecting to like turn 2 ads on and then you're a millionaire sort of thing.
Yeah, that's good. It's setting expectations, isn't it? So that there's no surprises. So important. Yeah,
for sure.
I think you've given us lots of good tips already, Tom, but I always like to make a point of sort of asking for your top tips, things that you know would help PTs, help the audience know how to do things better, or mistakes that you've made that you wouldn't repeat, those sorts of things. What would be your top ones?
Online or face-to-face, I think you've just got to put yourself in your comfort zone if you're not into this, but you've just got to talk to people, whether that's like just talking to people on the gym floor, talking to people on social media, whatever that is. But you've got to find a way to have conversations with people. When you do that, I would recommend you don't have to go talk to people to get clients, but you do need to just talk to a lot of people, because that's how you build a network, essentially. And it's like, if people know what you do, then if they are looking for someone, even if you do nothing, you're potentially going to be the guy that they'll go to because they know you. It's easier. So that's the first thing. Online, offline, talk with as many people as you can. Don't expect people to come to you. I think people do that on both ends. On the gym floor, they don't talk to people. They just hope they put the flyer up and people will come to them. People do that online as well. Put up a post and hope people will come to them. But you've got to engage as well. That would be probably the first thing. Sure. The second thing would just be, I don't know, I would definitely just continually upskill, seek help, read books, just whatever's. I mean, there's always budget restrictions to how much someone can get support with. But again, like compared to like when I started, there were a few websites around, but otherwise you just rummaging through books that you didn't know were good or not good. But now, man, there's endless information. So I would say be singular focus, figure out what you want to do, and then dedicate a couple of years hard to that, success or no success. But you'll learn so much just doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're obviously a bit of a reader as well, because I've seen photos of your bookshelves and the sorts of the sort of stuff that you like to read. Any top books that kind of stood out for you?
Oh, I just finished the Will Smith book, actually. Once I started that, I was like, it's interesting because I didn't know who I'd recommend it to. I was like, I don't know who this book's for. But after finishing it, I'd say to anyone, it was really, really good.
Okay.
And I'd highly recommend getting the audio book too.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because you've got Will Smith reading his audio book, and he's doing his raps, telling stories, like he's doing the stuff himself versus. Oh,
brilliant.
So that's the one I'd say there. Essentialism is probably one of the books I recommend to anybody, and that's more about just, again, like I was saying, if you can focus on what you want to do and then just dedicate a lot to that one thing. Essentialism would be like remove anything else that's not essential. If it's not pushing you towards your goals, whether it's with business, whether it's with health or family, whatever, if it's not in alignment with that, then just remove it. And I've lived with that philosophy for quite a while now. I just try to remove anything that's not positive or helping me towards whatever it is I'm working towards at that time.
That kind of takes a bit of a ruthless mind as well, doesn't it, to be that clinical? You know, not everybody's natural inclination is to do those sorts of things. No, it's not. It does take a little bit of time to be comfortable, saying no to stuff.
and depending on where you are, like I used to recommend, and I used to do this myself, is just say yes to everything. Like saying like jumping on this call here today, like a rigid would have said yes to everything. Then I went through a phase of saying no to everything. But it's like,
yeah, somewhere in between.
If the people that know me that are that might hear this will know this for sure, because I am pretty direct to say, if they're like, oh, we're going to go do this, do you want to come? And I'm like, no. And they find it a little bit rude sometimes, but
that reminds me of a Richard Branson story. Some organization wanted Branson to go and speak at their conference, and they said, that, we're offering $500,000, whatever it may be, for Richard to come and speak. And it's a big corporate that had deep pockets, and the answer came back, no, sorry, Richard's not interested in speaking. And they went, oh, okay, we obviously got the number wrong. So they went, okay, here's these numbers might be wrong, Tom, but they went back with $1 million. So like, yeah, okay, here's $1 million. Richard, we'd love you to come and speak. Here's $1 million. No, sorry, not interested. And they thought, okay, something's not right here. Okay, let's just double that again. And this went on till it was somewhere like 4 million or something. And the person answering the phone or answering him basically, look, it isn't about the money. You've got this wrong. Richard's not interested because he's focused on doing this, this, and this, not that, this, that, and the other. And, that's a really good lesson, isn't it? Because sometimes you do want to go out and play, but, sometimes you can't always justify going out and playing because it takes you away from the thing that you really want to be getting towards in, a year, 2 months, or tomorrow, whatever it might be.
Yeah, for sure. And if you want it enough, then you do have to make sacrifices. Like you can definitely do a bit of everything and be pretty good with everything. But if you want to be really good at something, like I got old Michael Jordan in the background there because he's pretty singular focused.
Oh,
so it's like, yeah. So I think if you do want to achieve big things, you've just got to be realistic on the input needed to achieve big things. And I think that's something that would be a recommendation I'd say to people too. Is that if you don't want to put in that effort, just lower your expectations of what you want out of it, because that's okay too.
Yeah, that's right. There's no right or wrong, is there? It's what's right for that person.
Yeah, that was probably another lesson for me actually. When I had trainers working for me, it took me a long time to not expect them to have expectations like I had on myself. Like I thought that was more normal. So if they weren't so driven to grow their business, I couldn't. It was like pulling my hair out, not understanding it. But then once I realized, it's like they're actually quite happy with not doing 100 sessions a week. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. Coming to terms with that. That's their goal, not your goal. Yeah,
for sure.
Brilliant. I like those tips, and I think they're probably slightly different to what people may have expected or what I was expecting. So yeah, it's good. It's a nice way to round it off. And I know you're a busy man and you're a focused man, so I appreciate your time and your openness and sharing all the stuff that you do. And I hope that business continues to be as successful as it has been and more.
Cool. Thank you for having me on board and asking some good questions, mate. Getting the best out of me.
Good. Do my best. I'm getting better at it.
Yeah. It's good.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Tom, and hope to catch you soon.
Awesome, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes. Bye.